How to Build the Perfect Castle by Epic History TV. Let's go. If you want to see additional content or extended content, head over to our Patreon. Links in the description box down below.
In Europe's Middle Ages,
I'll get that better.
castles dominated not just warfare, but society itself. Strongholds are as old as war.
There's no what castles you
but the
want us to
medieval
visit.
castle was unique. A refuge and a projection of military force. A lordly residence and symbol of power. A centre of justice and government. Today, castle ruins are found from the Atlantic coast.
Yeah, I can say.
Oh, okay.
Fuck me, what a climb that was. The day the elevator weren't working. Piss take, bro.
Oh, I kind of like that though, because you get the real natural experience.
There was a sick spot that we found to smoke a spliff, but we didn't have any on us.
Oh no!
Like, we went on this little rocky path, climbed this little rock bit, into this little rock phasing. Like, it was so sick.
That's so sick.
To the hills of Syria. Dramatic and poignant reminders of a lost feudal world. There was no single blueprint for the castle. Every one was unique. But by analysing key trends over 4 centuries, Epic History TV is proud to present its guide to building the perfect castle.
Let's see. Come on then.
The medieval castle was the product of a feudal world. A world we'll explore with help from our video sponsor, Crusader Kings 3. Using the in-game map,
boys.
we can zoom in on 9th century France.
They're not.
No.
Tale of dynastic now. Click the link
Our
in our
emails
video
in
description
our YouTube channel if you want to get in
more.
contact though.
Well, I would be good to have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Forts are either fortified by nature, or by human hand, or by both, which is considered stronger.
Oh, let's find out.
When building a new castle, the first and most important consideration is location. A castle should dominate the landscape, with good views in all directions, so hills are ideal. Steep slopes and river bends can be used to limit approach routes, making the site easier to defend. And for building work, a local source of stone, wood and soil is essential, as transporting these materials over medieval roads is more expensive than the materials themselves.
Yeah, I see.
There must also be a secure local source of fresh water and food to sustain the castle's occupants. A reliable starter castle is the Motte and Bailey, popular with the Normans, who built hundreds across England and Wales during the Norman conquest. The Motte is a mound, either natural or built by hand, as seen here in the biotapestry. It's not just a pile of mud though. These coloured bands are thought to represent alternating layers of stone and clay, which will increase stability. Sometimes they even used stone or timber foundations. A typical motte is 8 meters high and up to 50 meters across. Its top can be defended by a simple wooden palisade and a tower, living quarters for the lord and his entourage, and last refuge in case of attack.
I see.
An earth ditch and palisade should enclose the bailey to protect important buildings such as a hall, stables, kitchen, stores and a forge.
Yeah.
Timber palisades are vulnerable to fire and rot, so will ideally be replaced by an enclosing stone wall, known as a curtain wall, as soon as possible. This creates the enceinte, or main defensive enclosure. A curtain wall should have crenellations to protect soldiers of the garrison during an attack, as they shoot their bows or crossbows at the enemy. A concealed postern gate, or sally port, can be used during a siege to smuggle messages in and out of the castle, or to launch surprise attacks on the enemy.
Nice, right. Within the fortress ought to be one principal tower, built in the stoutest manner and fortified as strongly as possible.
In parts of France, such as Anjou and Poitou, castle builders ignored the motte and bailey approach and constructed strong stone towers.
Okay, interesting.
In French, it's called a donjon, the origin of the word dungeon. In England, it's known as the keep. A keep offers better security and accommodation than a wooden tower. But if you try to build one on top of a motte, its weight will cause it to collapse.
Makes sense.
Some opt for a compromise, a shell keep, which keeps the motte and replaces its wooden palisade with a circular stone wall. But a truly imposing keep will have to be built from scratch on carefully prepared foundations.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
A typical early stone keep is rectangular, between 2 and 4 stories high, with walls up to 6 meters thick. Construction might take up to 10 years and cost a fortune, so large keeps are only built by monarchs and powerful nobles. The biggest keeps have towers at each corner. Within, there might be a hall for meals and entertainment, private apartments, a chapel, and storerooms. A forebuilding creates an impressive and well-guarded entrance, which should be at first floor level, accessed by a wooden staircase which can be removed in case of attack.
Ooh,
If the
smart,
keep
so they
has a
can't get in
cellar,
there.
this is an ideal space to store extra provisions, not for chaining up prisoners in the dungeons of popular imagination. Early keeps are square or rectangular, but later come in many shapes and sizes. King Philippe Augustus of France was particularly fond of circular keeps.
Yeah, interesting.
Perhaps the most eye-catching of all is Castel del Monte in southern Italy,
That does look nice.
built by Emperor Frederick II. Its elaborate polygonal structure reminds us that the perfect castle must be elegant as well as formidable.
I wonder if there's like rooms they haven't discovered in these castles.
No, it's not going to be like the pyramids. I think they would have. Towers are to project forward so that when the enemy approaches, they may be wounded by missiles from the tower.
The curtain wall should be strengthened by flanking towers at regular intervals.
Okay, yeah.
These
sense.
project forward from the wall, so archers can shoot at attacking enemies with enfilade fire. Or, put another way, attackers will come under fire from the wall ahead of them, as well as from towers to the right and left.
Yeah.
Square towers offer large amounts of extra space for living quarters and storage. But their corners are a weak point that can be targeted by enemy stone-throwing artillery, such as a trebuchet. So round towers may be a better option.
Okay.
The choice is often one of taste, fashion, and/or cost. Square towers, round towers, and D-shaped towers were all common across Europe, and many castles feature a mix of types. In some places, it was possible to cut costs by reusing old Roman fortifications, as at Pevensey and Portchester on England's south coast.
Okay.
Here, the Normans simply built a stone keep within the walls of an old Roman shore fort, saving time, labour, and money. Loopholes, or arrow slits, are important additions for any tower or wall section. The earliest versions are simple vertical slits, but from the 14th century, more decorative cross shapes are common. In the event of a siege, wooden hoardings, sometimes called brattice work, can be built out over the walls to allow the garrison to rain boiling water and rocks onto the attacking enemy.
Fuck that. Add a barbican before the gate. The place is in trance.
The obvious focus
fucked that
for
one
an
up
attack
completely.
is
Sorry,
the
guys.
castle's main gate, so its defences, known as the gatehouse, must be especially strong. The ideal solution is to add towers on each side of the gateway, to add an outer and inner gate, and at least one, if not several, portcullises. These metal lattice gates can be dropped vertically to trap attackers in a kill zone. The garrison can then use murder holes in the ceiling and walls to finish off the intruders.
What's it for? Well, it's a hole that you murder people through.
Oh, that's so basic. I love it. Trap them and kill them.
The main gate can be further protected by a drawbridge over the outer moat or ditch, which can be raised by chains as an enemy approaches. Through the Middle Ages, gatehouses became increasingly powerful, with multiple drawbridges, gates, and portcullises. The approach covered by looming towers, and every wall and ceiling studded with loopholes.
Get through the first one.
and
I'm
murder
through the game, mate! Oh, fuck, there's a second one.
Some of the most formidable gatehouses are found in the castles built by Edward I to subdue Wales in the late 13th century.
Okay.
Such imposing wall defences began to make a massive keep seem superfluous. So many of these castles were built without a keep at all.
Okay.
Our castle is now an imposing fortress, able to withstand a siege of several months, if
Okay.
properly provisioned. But to be considered truly epic, a castle should have a second curtain wall enclosing an outer bailey, with its own towers and gatehouse. Gatehouses should be positioned at angles to the approach route,
Yeah.
so any attacker has to twist and turn, rather than make a direct rush at the gate. Towers and walls should now feature stone machicolations for dropping rocks on the enemy, far more sophisticated than temporary wooden hoardings. The new outer bailey, or ward, allows more buildings to be brought within the castle's defences, not forgetting that a medieval castle is as much a residence as fortification.
Yeah.
Perhaps a new, grander hall for entertaining your household and important guests, kitchen gardens, and extra living quarters. The outer ditch or moat can be flooded with water to create an extra layer of defence. A water moat also has decorative value and can be a source of fresh fish.
Okay.
A final
Didn't think about
flourish,
fresh.
a barbican, an outlying fortification that adds yet another layer of defence to the main entrance.
Yeah, brother.
This is now a fine and
You
formidable
gotta get through like
example
6
of a
gates
concentric
before
castle.
you get into the fucking centre.
Its design will force any attacker to overcome successive layers of strong defence to reach the final refuge, the keep. If properly garrisoned and supplied, a castle like this was virtually impregnable until the age of gunpowder.
Insane.
That's
As
sick.
we have seen,
That is so
there was
sick.
no single blueprint for the medieval castle. Each was built to take advantage of the landscape, to
What?
incorporate the latest military
recognise it?
thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the one I went to.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But you recognise it.
I do kind of recognise that, yeah.
And reflect regional styles and personal taste. The most awe-inspiring examples from the castle's golden age include Crac des Chevaliers, the supposedly impregnable crusader fortress of the Knights Hospitaller. Dover Castle, known as the Key to England,
We need to go check that one out.
and
Dover
Malbork Castle, the gigantic brick-built headquarters of the Teutonic Knights. By the 15th century,
That
the
one looks
castle's role
beautiful.
was in steep decline, in part due to the rise of gunpowder weapons such as cannon. But more fundamentally because the feudal world that gave rise to the castle had fallen away, to be replaced by professionalized armies and centralized royal authority. As the age of powerful feudal lords ended, so too did the age of the castle. Most would ultimately slide
There's no
into
need to
ruin,
fund it anymore, was there?
their military role replaced by artillery forts, their residential role taken over by palaces and stately homes, as the age of the castle gave way to the age of the chateau.
Fuck's sake.
Thanks again to our video
That's ridiculous.
sponsor,
It's
Crusader
absolutely
Kings 3.
ridiculous. Imagine
Use
you
the
get
link in the video
imagine
description to check.
just like purchasing an old castle to live in nowadays. Like, that's fucking jokes.
Great
Mate,
unlisted, can't do anything.
what a brilliant video.
Yeah, man. I like that.
I do like that. We need to build our own fort output.
Yes.
Let us know if you want to see that. If you haven't already, head over to Epic History's channel. That link's in the description box down below. If you want to watch bonus content from us and extended content, you need to go head over to our Patreon, and that link's in the description box down below. If you enjoyed our reaction, looking forward to future reactions, you know what you need to do. You need to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will catch you in the next video.
See you soon.